survive at the end of their gun. We run. But yeah, for me, I mean, Hendrix changed the game. There are plenty of people who raised the bar, but Hendrix changed the game. The next guy that changed the game was Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And then everybody since Eddie, as far as I'm concerned, there's some phenomenal guys that have done, you know, guys like Malmsteen did things nobody did before him and whatever, but nobody changed the game. They just raised the bar, you know, and even my favorite player, Nuno, who is being heralded now as, you know, the new Eddie. He's got the throne. He's a phenomenal player, but it still all comes from Eddie and Jimi and guys like that. You know, nobody. And there are bands. I mean, there are bands like Polyphia or Periphery that are or Pliny, who are doing things no other guitar players are doing. Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders is another one. They are definitely doing things other people didn't do. But to me, the difference is guys like Eddie, guys like Jimi Hendrix, they did things nobody else was doing and still made it accessible to the average listener. Like, you don't have to be a guitar freak to love Van Halen 1.
Right.
You just, you know, the songs are good. You know, it's not just guitar playing, so.
Well, that's the thing about Malmsteen, is he's a phenomenal player, but I find his playing so clinical compared to Eddie Van Halen, who's got so much touch, so much rhythm and feel.
Yeah, and the weird thing is
And
Malmsteen.
flash,
The weird thing is Malmsteen. Like, he's so fast and he's so big with the arpeggios and all that stuff. But I've seen videos of him just playing blues. He's amazing.
Really?
And he has a ton of feel, but he just chooses not to do that. So, you know, I mean, guys like that, you know, they do, there's more to them than meets the eye, but like Malmsteen has just decided, this is what I do. I play 6 million miles an hour, and that's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah, exactly. So they have their niche, they have their, what do you call their shtick.
Yeah, their shtick, yeah, exactly.
Joe Satriani's got his shtick. I'm sure he could do way more than what he does with that G6.
But see, he's the opposite. Satriani's the opposite. He tones it down, right? Like, he plays for the song. Yeah. As far as shredders go, you know, Satriani really does play for the song, you know, and there are a lot of shredders. Nuno's another guy who plays for the song. That solo on this current single, he's not playing for the song. That's totally, you know, that's totally flexing. But for the most part, he does play for the song.
Was he born in Portugal? I know he's Portuguese background.
Azores.
I think he was born in Portugal.
Yeah, he was born in the Azores.
Okay.
Yeah, and then grew up in Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember the original video, Wholehearted. He was wearing a Boston Bruins jersey.
Oh yeah, and what's his name's in the video? Cam Neely.
Yeah.
Cam Neely's in the video.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Okay, so what to you makes a good song?
What makes a good song? It's so many. It can be so many different things, you know. Like, if I look at my own stuff that I really like, some of it is, you know, some complex, you know, like opus type stuff. Like Bad Elvis is one of my favorite songs. And then I wrote a song for my son. It's a 4-chord song, very simple, called Good Night. It's 2.5 minutes long. I think it's great. As far as, like, you know, stuff I listen to, I love Radiohead, you know, and Radiohead is something I didn't appreciate when I was younger because I wanted playing. I wanted guitar playing.
Right.
But I didn't realize, like, a guy like Johnny Greenwood, he doesn't shred. You know, he doesn't flex. But you watch them live and you're just like, oh, that's guitar. He's doing that with a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, it's innovative stuff. For me, honestly, what makes a good song, I think, and this is a little cliche, but is honesty. If you're coming from a place of honesty, whether that's musically, lyrically, you know, that's what's going to connect with people.
That's it. I think that's why Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette connected with so many people.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. It's an incredible song, and it also came out of left field, right? Especially the stuff that Alanis used to do, the dance stuff, which a lot of people don't know, right? Like Jagged Little Pill wasn't her first album, and but yeah, that came out and it was like that. You know, it had so much anger and it had so much passion.
Yeah.
And absolutely. You know, and I love stuff like that. I mean, my favorite band is Deftones. Deftones
I'll have to check into them because I know nothing about Deftones.
So, well, they're like 3-4 different bands in one. They do some really beautiful, soft stuff. They do some incredibly heavy, screamy stuff, and then they do mixes. You know, where like the verses are like this heavy, screamy stuff that Chino does, and then it gets to the chorus, and it's this beautiful melody. You know, and he's also a guy. He uses semitones a lot for not semitones, microtones to sing. So he actually sings technically off key because he's between two notes, but he does it better than anybody. You know, I love Deftones. When I first heard Deftones, I heard "Change in the House of Fly." It's the first thing I heard. Hated it. I was into hair metal kind of stuff back then. Hated it, and then they released a couple albums later. They released a song called Minerva, and I was like, "This is amazing!" And I got into them and realized what a fantastic band they are. Just amazing.
This is a question out of left field, but why do you hate Pearl Jam?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
I saw a video that you posted, and it gave me the idea that you hated Pearl Jam.
No. Okay, so it was
a lot
video.
of people don't like Pearl Jam. I love Pearl Jam.
Of the grunge bands, they're my least favorite.
Okay.
But no, what I posted, it's a video. It's what Pearl Jam sounds like to people who don't like Pearl Jam. And I posted it because it was hilarious.
I think it's hilarious too because to me Eddie Vedder always sounds like he's drunk.
He does, and they extend whoever edited it was amazing because they extend the verse so it's about 3 times as long as it should be, and then it's got all his grunts, and I just thought it was hilarious. But no, I did. I'll be honest with you, all of the grunge stuff when it came out, I hated it because I was a hair metal guy. Okay. I liked Def Leppard.
Well, grunge was as antithesis of hair metal. Grunge came out because of the hair metal
backlash.
Yeah, backlash. Exactly.
Yeah, but you know what? In my opinion, everybody says grunge killed. Grunge killed hair metal. In my opinion, Guns N' Roses killed hair metal because Guns N' Roses came out. They looked like hair metal,
but
they were dirty and the songs were strong, and they actually killed hair metal, and then grunge killed Guns N' Roses. But,
I think just hair metal ran its course because it just got so repetitive. It was so generic.
It was so sterile. The reason I was into it is because it had great guitar players, and that's all I cared about back then. I just wanted to play, fast solos, and that's all I cared about. And then grunge came out. I hated it. I have a tendency to be late to the party. Okay. I love grunge now. As a matter of fact, we get called grunge, and I take it as a compliment. I feel that, I didn't play very good today. Hands aren't really cooperating, but I feel like when I'm in shape, when people say, "Oh, you're a grunge band," I feel that we are a grunge band with better guitar and worse vocals because I can't sing like those guys. Okay. But I love grunge now. I do like the first Pearl Jam album. I think is phenomenal, and didn't really care for much after that. But I do like Eddie Vedder as a singer, especially after seeing him do
Big
Black,
Hard Song,
when he did Black live, acoustic. It raised all the hair on my arms. Right. It's just beautiful.
Well, his version of Big Hard Sun is
good too.
Outstanding. Yeah, because that was done by I think it's a Canadian band.
It's a Canadian band called
Indio.
Is that what they're called? Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Back in the 80s, I used to listen to this radio station in Montreal called Chaume. And
Claude
Hajat, he always had...
he was great.
He always had these indie bands.
Yeah.
I remember Indio came out, and when I heard that song, I thought it was great. Pretty simple, but it's very touching.
I love Claude Hajat. He had such a great accent. Yeah, he was great.
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Couldn't say Van Halen worth it.
Van Halen.
So, which bands or singers are on your bucket list to see live?
Who do I want to see live? I've seen Deftones a couple times. I want to see Extreme again. I've seen them. As far as guys I've never seen, I don't even really know. I mean, I want to see Buckethead. Okay. I want to see him live because he's a freak of nature. Such an incredible guitar player. But I'm trying to think of what's Radiohead. I really want to see Radiohead live. I think they're phenomenal, and it's funny. Deftones have been described as horny Radiohead. That's what they're heavier. They're like hard rock, and their stuff it has some explicit lyrics and stuff, but it's got the same kind of experimental vibe as Radiohead. Okay. Who else do I want to see? You know who I really want to see live is Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
I really want to see her. I think she's great. I think her aesthetic is fantastic.
I would love to see Carlos Santana live because he's one of my favorite guitar players.
He's a great player.
He's not a shredder by any stretch, but it's just the feel of it.
He's got that Spanish.
Yeah,
he's got the Spanish vibe.
Maybe because when I was a kid, my mother used to play lots of that Mexican type music. So it's ingrained in me.
It's ingrained in me, yeah, for sure.
All right, I guess we're wrapping things up. Can you give the audience a couple of songwriting tips?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can. It's different for me depending on the night that I do it, but I think that it's a good tip. I mean, if you've got riffs that you've been playing, and a lot of guitar players, that's where it starts, right? Mm-hmm. If you've got riffs that you've been playing, you should learn how melodies work within the key that you're in, and that doesn't have to be a technical ordeal. It can be something that you do just by ear. But as far as lyrically, just tell a story. You know, whether it's a true story, or even just commit to it, right? If you're telling a story like "Haunt Me," as I mentioned, is fiction. You know, I have similar songs that are true, right? I've lost a lot of friends, and I've written songs for them. But "Haunt Me" was complete fiction. It was written a long, long time ago, and but I committed to the story, you know, and I tried to make it. And when I sing it, I try to make it as authentic as possible. Mm-hmm. I think authenticity is the key, and that doesn't mean you have to write true stories. It just means that you have to feel what you're playing, and that you're not. In my opinion, the biggest mistake of songwriters is trying to appeal to a certain demographic.
Formula type music.
Yeah, stay away from the formula. Yeah. I have no formula. I don't even have a method.
Don't be a Justin Bieber.
Don't be a Justin Bieber. That's good advice for sure. One thing I was going to say, I don't know if you've got time. I said I don't do cover tunes, right? And it's called "We Run."
Okay. And
it was a synth.
I remember that song from.
Yeah. Would you mind if I do a rendition of it?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. We run. You're on your own and meet a friend who doesn't kill but wounds for life. The sun blinds you through the trees, while watching clues fall from the skies. At the point of the knife, you never see anyone. How the strong will survive at the end of their gun. We run. Frozen smiles for men returned. They never even left this place. The sunlight flew through the trees, and a shadow cut across her face. At the point of the knife, you never see anyone. How the strong will survive never see anyone. How the strong will survive at the end of their gun. How the point of the knife, you never see anyone. How the strong will survive at the end of their gun. At the point of the knife, you never see anyone. How the strong will survive at the end of their gun. We run.
Very nice. Excellent rendition. I remember that song very well. I heard it so many times in
Great song,
the
eh?
80s. Yes, I really like that song.
Thanks.
And you
man.
have your #1 fan right behind you.
Well, just do it. Yeah, he's always there.
I have a cat that also likes music. When I started playing acoustic, she comes and lies right in front of me.
Yeah. He loves music, don't you? Well, thanks very much, man. That was great.
All right.
Thank you.